Okay, so the price of Bitcoin almost hit $98,000 on Friday, and now it's getting a little bit of a pullback throughout the weekend. The most important question, of course, is this a leading move for a possible start of an impulse to the downside where we do get a breakdown? Or is it just a corrective structure? We are just correcting and we finally going to break that $98,000 in the next coming days. Well, we'll be discussing some pure technical analysis. First of all, we're going to go through the higher time frame and understand the monthly chart where we do have an inverted hammer candle. Now, yes, this hammer candle would have been nice to have a little bit more of a body of the candle, but as you can see on the picture, we did come all the way up in April to get to the top of the wick. So that is bullish. As you can see, on this inverted hammer candlestick, this brings a massive reversal. So the next coming months should be bullish. And before we go through the next chart, which is one of the most important, shout out to Weeks because they are giving $100 Tether bonus to trade with for the first 100 users that sign up with this new campaign, guys. Take advantage of this $100 because all of the profits that you make from that you can withdraw. It is up to $30,000 in deposit bonus. You just need an email and a password and you get 25% fee reduction when you sign up with that second link down below. Now, we do have a problem, of course. We've been discussing this throughout the last few videos. The price of Bitcoin is hitting the golden pocket from all-time high to the pivot low of April. And we have moved very similar from the previous cycle. This was 2021 where we had that massive consolidation, a drop, an accumulation zone, and breaking out very nicely. The price got rejected from the golden pocket. Here we have the consolidation range, a major drop in February, nice consolidation as an accumulation, and the breakout. The price is exactly right now hitting the golden pocket on Friday, getting a little bit of a reaction. So yeah, we need to take this level into consideration. I know half of my viewers are bullish, half of them are bearish. So I'll let you decide in the comment section what you think. Now, most importantly, we're going to go through Elliott wave theory. What is going on here? Which wave are we in? We know that we are hitting higher time frame major level of resistance. Matter of fact, we are hitting that golden pocket, okay? Sorry, the point of control from the range of 2024 and 2025, right? So yeah, this is a major level. So most importantly, where are we at right now? Well, we've got a few scenarios, of course. The bullish case scenario, we have a 5 move to the upside here. And we finished this impulsive move in the 5th wave, right? Which we would be expecting some kind of an ABC corrective move throughout the next 1 to 2 weeks, right? So yeah, the drop would happen if this would be the end of the structure. However, this wave 5 has been very shallow in timing when we do compare it to your wave 3 and we compare it to your wave 1, right? This did take 1 to 2 more weeks, right, of price action, and this one was relatively fast, only taking a few days. So is there a possibility, hey, this wave 5 has not finished? We broke out from this range and we only formed our first initial wave, and this is a corrective structure. Buckle up because we are going to be getting that 3, 4, and 5 heading way above $100,000. Just like we did over here when we did break out the range. We got our first initial wave, a little reaction correction, and then we continued with 3, 4, 5, right? We did get continuation to the upside. We are only in this stage right over here. Come on, guys. We are going to get that 3rd wave to the upside in the next coming days. Don't worry about it. Well, of course, that is definitely a possibility. What we need to analyze is the local structure. That is the most important. Market makers are not making this difficult. Is this corrective? Is it impulsive? We'll be zooming in on the lower time frames to understand the most important levels. Now, of course, there is the bearish case scenario. This entire move to the upside has been a 3-wave structure. As you can see, your A wave in 5 waves, a WXY sideways corrective move, formed here with the C wave, which has formed 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. That 4th wave also being a WXY that we did discuss last week very nicely for the high probability of taking out the highs. Now the question is, hey, is it possible that this is a 5-wave structure and we've got a 3-wave structure on the higher time frame? It is definitely possible, guys. Now, the market is not making this range easy. So what we need to discuss is eventually the lower time frame, the 15-minute time frame, trying to understand, hey, is this a corrective move? Is it part of a corrective with an ABC flat? Or is it the start of a major impulsive move with multiple 1-2s or just 1, 2, 3, 4, 5? We're going to get a bounce, lower high, and then we suddenly start collapsing. What is interesting here, of course, is that we are hitting a major level of support, and it's just a random trend line. We got the trend line here from higher lows from the bottom level here of $74,000 range here in April. So we got this low, the higher low. There's a couple of trend lines. I choose 2 lows here from April, and you can see we are exactly at that level. We do not want to lose this level, right? Because if you say, hey, if we lose a major higher low support trend line, we know that that drop could happen. And most commonly, you would be sweeping up the lows of the range, right? Where there's a lot of liquidity. We do know that. So what is the level that needs to hold? Well, this one right over here, possible fake outs, consolidating at the higher low support trend line. Most importantly, the point of control of the range of the last 2 weeks. We do have an extreme high volume node at $94,800, sorry. This is in confluence with the higher low support trend line here for the next 24 hours. We do not want to lose this level. If this level is lost, very likely we're going to get a significant drop of a few $1,000s to get at least below $93,000, right? So a $2,000-3,000 drop is very much likely. Could we waterfall and go to lower levels? Absolutely, right? It is definitely possible. Just in case we have finished this 5-wave structure to the upside, yeah, this might get a little bit dangerous, right? If anybody is believing that we are just going to be going to higher levels, right, in the next coming days. If this level is lost, be ready. We could get a major drop of a few $1,000s just because it's the local, most important, strongest level of support. Point of control of the range of the last 2 weeks and also higher low support trend line, right? Keeping it easy for the viewer. Now let's go a little bit more complex in detail with the Elliott wave theory on the lower time frames. Let's go to the 15-minute time frame and try and discuss here what the heck happened throughout Friday and the weekend. Now we did get this major move to the upside that does count very nicely as a possible impulse, right? We do have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So yeah, this could be the end of the wave. Counting all of this structure, right, as a WXY, we got here a zigzag and a double flat, very complex. We ain't going to go that low, okay? But you do have a perfect move up, consolidation, next leg to the upside with the highest amount of volume here, okay? Counting this as your wave 3, very easy. And then one more high here to the upside. Okay, that could be the end of your wave 1. And all of this is a corrective move. There is another way of counting this, of course. You do have your 1, 2, 3, consolidation 4 and 5. This is the end of your impulse in your wave 1. So if this is the end of the impulse, the way to count this as a correction, you need to count this as a flat, because what is very interesting after this corrective move is that you moved up in a 3-wave structure. If you move up in a 3-wave structure after a correction, you need to give the possibility for a flat, right? Which would be this price action right over here. So you got your A wave in this move, your C wave right over here, your B wave, sorry, what's going on here, your B wave right over here, and your C wave all the way down. Now, this is already hitting the 2-to-1 extension, most commonly hitting the 1.618. That did get a little reaction bounce yesterday. However, we come all the way down to the 2-to-1, which would be a little bit overextended for an ABC flat. But I need to give it a chance. We are hitting very strong levels of support right now, which is just a resistance support flip. This is where we're consolidating. So most would believe, yeah, that bounce is very possible, okay? So if we do see this movement to the downside, I do not see it as a corrective move. I do see this as a leading move. Now, there's 2 options here, and this would be it, right? Where you have multiple 1-2s at the beginning from the rejection of Friday. You have your 3, 4, 5s, and then another 4, 5, the longest range, which would be this one right over here. And now your last wave to the downside, forming that 5th wave in a kind of a contracting move to the downside. So is this possible right over here, where we are just forming this contracting move just to finish this wave and now we are going to get a bounce. Now, what is extremely important to analyze in the next coming hours, if we were to get that bounce, we want to see an explosive move to the upside in a 5-wave structure. If we do get this kind of price action, right, the movement to the downside will very likely be a correction. So we can really say, hey, this could be the low. We're analyzing the correction down to the 50% to the 7/8 Fibonacci from the low to the high, and start believing that, hey, come on, we are heading up to hit the Friday highs, 98K, and we're going to hit 100K plus, right, in the coming days this week. So it is important to get this movement up, get that strength, get a 5-wave move, get your impulse in your 3rd wave, the most common wave here. So you want to see a sign of strength, which would be this one right over here. If this does move like this, then I would lean on the side that this is an ABC flat. So it's important. The next movement, the next information will be crucial to believe that this is an impulse. Now, if this is going to be a leading move to the downside, well, here potentially you have your wave 1 or your wave A. Now, of course, the best case scenario would be your wave A, where you have a wave B right over here in a 3-wave structure and then a 5-wave move down. But regardless, you're looking for an A, B, and C. At some point, you find some support and then you head to higher levels. Worst case scenario, this is your wave 1. It is a leading move. It does count better as an impulse than rather a corrective 3-wave structure. So it is crucial to see the price action that is going to be formed in the next coming days. If we start getting a movement up, corrective move, then we move to the upside, and then the price action does retrace and overlap this pivot, gets a large move down, then this will be looking quite bearish. This could be labeled as your wave B or your wave 2, and we could be waiting for a breakdown, okay? So it is crucial to see the next movement to the upside to see if it is going to be possibly a correction and we're heading to lower levels, or is it going to be impulsive? We form 5 waves to the upside. This could be the low of this movement to the downside. This is the low of the correction, right? Preferably in that ABC flat. It's the only type of correction that I do see here possible because it is counting better as a leading move. What do I mean by a leading move? Well, you have multiple 1-2s, 3, 4, 5s, right? And then you get the correction and then continuation to the downside. And worst case scenario is that you are forming multiple 1-2s here in this downtrend. This is the worst case scenario. And I'm going to give you an example from 2021 where you form multiple 1-2s inside of this range and you finally collapse. This would be kind of in confluence with the breakdown of the higher low support trend line and also the point of control of this range. Now, if that $94,800 level is going to be lost, I would be prepared for a major move down of $2,000, $3,000, even $5,000, right? Depending on how aggressive it happens. Now, of course, what would you follow here after this wave 3 is multiple 4, 5. So the price action kind of just losing the momentum. You got the multiple 1-2s, you got the big breakdown here of the trend line and the point of control, and then you have your multiple 4, 5s, which is going to be devastating, right? People are going to be like, oh my goodness, right? We're heading down to 90K, 88K, 86K, right? So it won't be looking too nice. Now, this kind of price action, right, I will explain here on the charts what happened in 2021, all right? Let's go back to 2021 and explain this kind of scenario. This was actually the all-time high where you break the highs here of $61,000 and you head up to $64,800. Everything very good, very nice. We are uptrending, very bullish. We're heading up to 100K. And then the price action does this kind of corrective move, right? You are consolidating. And as you can see, what you're forming is multiple 1-2s, 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 a small 1-2 right over here. So it's a little bit of a bullish pennant, most would believe. I'm looking for the breakout. We are continuing the trend, right? You had a major trend line that is holding here, the higher low support, as you can see. You are moving down in a bullish pennant, most would believe, but then you get the devastating breakdown, right? Your wave 3 followed with wave 4, 5, 4, and 5. You just continue here with the major downtrend. So just for that example, right? You got higher low support trend line. You're moving down, grinding to the downside here, Could that be the case where we are, expecting the higher low support trend lines to say, hey, come on, give me that support and let's bounce from here? Well, yeah, this ain't looking too great, right? The point of control, the $94,800, is crucial to hold, because this, if it is going to be lost, we would be expecting a major correction of a few $1,000s. And I'm telling you that this would very likely be your wave 3, which will be followed by 4.5s to the downside. Ain't going to be looking too great if we lose this level. So for all of those people that are very bullish, if 94,800 is lost successfully, this could really collapse several $1,000s. And right now, Weeks is throwing the house through the window. 100 people, the first 100 new users, will be getting $100 airdrop, guys, for free that you can use for trading. So the first 100 signups are going to get $100 tether, so you can use for trading. Any profits that you make from that, you can withdraw. You also get a 25% fee reduction. You only need an email and a password here on Weeks, guys. Make sure to sign up right away with the second link, okay? And take advantage also of that 25% fee reduction. So stay cautious right now, guys. There is that risk, of course, of forming multiple 1-2s. If we lose 94,800, a major drop of several $1,000s could be on the horizon. Stay cautious. If you want more advanced TA, make sure to join the Legends trading community, which is the 4th link down below. And subscribe to the channel, because I will be going live tomorrow to analyze the local price action. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one.